Hey, okay, I want to pick up on this NAR settlement again. If you aren't sure exactly what this is about, go and watch my most recent videos and you'll be up to speed. But what I'm talking about today, right now, is the here and now. Right now in the interim between this proposed settlement and the actual acceptance of the proposed settlement. Obviously, some things will, nothing is truly final. So we'll see how it plays out. But in the interim right now, things are changing already. One of the things that I'm seeing changing is paperwork. Brokers are seeming to kind of migrate over to forms that maybe are more widely accepted as an industry standard rather than what that specific brokerage was preferring to use in the past. And we're seeing MLS systems start to allow the listings to come in with no buyer broker commission being offered. So now a seller can be listed in the MLS and not offer anything to a buyer's agent. What's occurring as a result of that is that the mass adoption of the buyer agency agreements are going to, start to really take effect. So a lot of the agents who are established in the business are using these forms because they know their value, they've seen everything under the sun, and they want to protect themselves. And that was, before all of this came into place. But now they've been adopted more by additional realtors as we've seen this coming. And now with this being right here in our face, it's happening more widespread. There are going to be agents who, again, don't want to do this until they absolutely have to. And I think those agents are putting themselves at a pretty big disadvantage. Something I'm really interested in watching in the interim here, I have a different expectation of what will happen in the future, but in the interim here, what I'm looking forward to seeing is the seller that does list their home for sale and does not offer any commission to the buying side. I expect that what will happen is that there will be friction in that listing being sold. Friction is going to cause more time on market, which means generally you're going to sell for less. The reason that I'm saying this would cause friction right now is because the majority of realtors are not making it their standard business practice to have their buyers on these exclusive buyer agency agreement forms or any sort of buyer agency agreement form
signed, then you've never disclosed to your buyer that they could potentially have to owe you a commission. You cannot negotiate that after you've showed them the property. You can also not renegotiate with the seller after you've showed that property because they already told you up front they weren't going to pay you anything. So getting these forms in place and required across the industry is going to be a good thing. Currently, those properties are having a very hard time selling. I can only come up with two reasons. Number one, the ones with these forms tell their buyers what the situation is and the buyer decides it's not worth the extra out of pocket. The other, the agent that doesn't use the forms, doesn't show the house.
In the interim for me, I am suggesting that my sellers operate as it always has been. And another thing I expect to see, this I'm not so dead set sure on, but I expect that there's going to be a lot more buyer action between now and July. I think buyers are going to be a little bit more enticed to try to secure something before the settlement comes into play, because obviously there is a good chance that after this settlement comes into play, that buyers will have to spend more money out of pocket to purchase a home. So I expect to see that go up, but I'm supposed to just be talking about the interim in this video. So I'm going to leave it at that. Those are the things that I expect to see between now and July.